Hello everyone, I'm Kirsty Watson and welcome to my Let's Write a Story adventure. Now for those of you that don't already know me, I am a children's storyteller, a writer and the author of 2 children's picture books, The Witch's Cat and the Cooking Catastrophe and Pirate Mouse. And I am on a bit of a mission to get everyone using their own unique, wonderful imaginations to invent their own stories and create their very own storybooks. In these videos, I'm going to talk you through how to write a story. I'm going to be sharing some tips and ideas, and I'm going to be reading some of my stories along the way to give you a bit of inspiration. Stories are amazing, aren't they? They take us on all kinds of adventures to all kinds of wonderful places where we get to meet lots of lovely characters. We learn new things, new words. Stories can make us think differently about things. But the really amazing thing about stories is that they've come from someone's imagination. And if they can think of a story, then so can you. Now this writing adventure is going to be suitable for children of all ages. If you're not yet writing, you can have fun doing this with a grown-up. And if you're already writing, if you're a writer, this is going to be wonderful practice for you, and grown-ups, if you want to join in too, the more the merrier. This is going to be so much fun and I really hope you can join me on this writing adventure. Now just for fun, to start us off, I am going to share a story with you that I wrote when I was 8 years old at school, and it was part of a project where we got to write and design our very own storybook, and it was such a magical experience. It stayed with me all this time, and I think it's the reason really I love doing what I do now. Now who's ready for a little story time? Hands up. Fantastic. I'm going to start by reading what's on the back of the book. Now this story is about a girl called Kelly Sampenden who has a strange encounter with a monster. What kind of monster? She had to find out alone. How exciting, she thought. Well, shall we find out what happens in the story? Chapter 1. The Monster's Footprint. One day, a girl called Kelly Sampenden was eating her Sunday dinner when she looked out of the window and she nearly fell off her chair. There was an amazing sight outside. A huge mark in the grass. After looking for half an hour, she found out what it was. It was a footprint. Was it a monster's footprint, or a dragon, or a dinosaur? However, it had left a silvery mark in the middle of the footprint. Chapter 2. It must be a monster, she shouted. That night, she heard strange noises, but she had forgotten about what had happened that day. When she was in bed, thinking about that day, she remembered the footprint. Then there was a clash of thunder. Help! Kelly sat up and screamed, "Ah!" 2 minutes later, there was a knock at the door. Kelly went downstairs to look out of the window. Eek! A big, silvery monster was knocking on the door. Yuck! Chapter 3. Kelly went to the letterbox and shouted, "Go away!" The monster looked through the other side and smiled. And he spat silver spit in her face. She wiped it off and went to get a biscuit, sat down and went to sleep. In the morning, there were silvery footprints on the doorstep Kelly did not like it at all. Chapter 4. Kelly decided that she would set a trap. She caught the monster, but she got covered in silver. What a mess! She tidied up, but the monster was mad. And I mean very mad. So mad that he turned green and silver went everywhere. Then dark green, then he grew and said, "You are nasty." Kelly screamed so loudly that the monster melted away. Oh, she did have to clean up, but at least the monster had gone. The end. I think it's the end. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little story that I wrote when I was 8 years old, and I hope it's given you maybe a few ideas for your own stories. Which brings me on to your first writing challenge. Now, the first thing I want you to do is very simple, is come up with some ideas for your own story. Now, for this, all you'll need is a pencil, either a blank sheet of paper or the first worksheet from the resources on my website. And very simply, all you have to do is write down some ideas. And this is really fun because you never know where this is going to lead. Now, here's some things to think about as you go along. Firstly, who is going to be your main character? Who is going to be in your story? What are they going to be? What's their name? What do they do? What do they like to do? Where do they live? Who are their friends? Who are the other characters in the story? Are there going to be any villains, or are they all going to be heroes of the story? You might also want to think about the setting for your story. So where will your story take place? And as it's your story, it could literally be anywhere you like. Are there any particular themes that you enjoy? Do you like pirates or going under the sea, or perhaps you fancy a trip into space? What might happen in your story? So start to think a little about the plot. Are they going to go on an adventure? Is there going to be a mystery to solve? Is there going to be a lesson that the characters need to learn? Start having a little bit of a think about what will happen in your story. Now, I'm often asked how I come up with the ideas for my stories, and the answer really is everywhere. So I take inspiration from everything around me, from my children, the things they say, the games they play with each other, from things other people say, jokes, maybe something funny that's happened, somewhere I've been, something I've seen on the television. And often ideas come from reading. And I'll let you into a little secret. As a writer, one of the best things you can do is read, read, read. Reading is a wonderful source for inspiration. So take a look around you. What interests you? What do you think would make a great story? And start jotting all these ideas down. You can write them or draw them. And remember, no idea is too big, too small, too silly at this point. Just start writing them down and see where it takes you. It's a bit of an adventure. So now it's over to you. Once you've come up with some ideas for a story, ask your grown-up to send them to me, and in the next video we'll have a look at some of those ideas. And I'll also be sharing my story, The Witch's Cat and the Cooking Catastrophe. Thank you for watching my video, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.